I'm Raymond. Welcome to Crimson Kitchen. There seems to be a quest in the keto community for the ultimate pizza crust replacement. Furthermore, there seems to be a quest for people who aren't on keto for a way to make a pizza at home that's as good as something that they might get from a pizzeria or a pub or a restaurant. Well, guys, I have found it. If you're looking for a keto-friendly pizza that has a crust that doesn't taste like some sort of crust substitute, or if you're looking to make a pizza at home that doesn't taste like cardboard and ketchup, this is the ultimate homemade pizza that's quick and easy, doesn't taste like it comes out of a box, and just happens to be keto friendly. I have never seen any other content creator with this solution, so as far as I know, it's my invention, and I'm calling it CK Pizza for Crimson Kitchen Pizza. I can't wait to share it with you, so let's get to it. Okay, so I've got the ingredients spread out on two sides of me here, and the reason I've done that is because over here I've got what I consider to be sort of the essential ingredients. In other words, any pizza that you make is probably going to want to have these. And then on this side I've got the extra ingredients, the toppings that I'm going to put on my pizza today. And I'm going to put the ingredients and the macros up on the screen, so you'll see those ingredients and those macros appear right here. And then they're also going to be in the description. Let's start here. This is the essential ingredient. This is the Mission Carb Balance Flour Tortillas. Now, sometimes on Crimson Kitchen, the brand of the ingredients that we use doesn't really matter, and sometimes it matters. And in this case, it matters very much because I tried many different brands, and this is the one, man. This is the one that gives you the results that you want. This stuff right here, this is magic. I use this in so many things. This opens up so many opportunities for you folks that are on keto. What you want is the Mission Carb Balance Flour burrito size tortillas. And then again, here, this brand matters. This is the Rayo's homemade marinara sauce. So for this, we're going to use 4 tablespoons. This brand doesn't have any added sugars. The only sugars in here are the ones that occur naturally in the tomatoes, and it's just fantastic. The taste is just, man, it goes so well on this. I'm going to use a tablespoon of olive oil. Then I'm going to use shredded mozzarella cheese, 2/3 of a cup. Then I'm going to use some diced onion. I'll put the amounts on the screen when I put the ingredients on the screen, but some of these are just very much dependent on your own personal tastes. Some sliced black olives. Then we're going to use some dried Italian seasoning, some sliced jalapeno peppers, some tomato slices. Probably not going to dice this. I'm probably going to cut slices and then cut those in half. I'll show you. Some sliced baby bella mushrooms broken up into smaller pieces. Then I'm going to use pepperoni. Depending on whether you make a pepperoni pizza or a sort of a supreme pizza, you're probably going to want to use either more or less pepperoni. I like to set it off with just a little bit of shredded Parmesan. And then personally, I like to either put a little bit of fresh ground black pepper or crushed red pepper on mine when I get done. And that's it. That's all the wonderful toppings we're going to use today. So let's go get started. Okay, so this makes a very thin pizza crust. If you think thin and crispy crust from Pizza Hut, if you've ever had that, that's the kind of crust that we're talking about here. I love that kind of pizza crust. If you want the crust to be a little bit thicker, just take some warm water right from the tap and a brush and just brush this tortilla with that warm water. Just get one side of it nice and wet, and then do the same thing with another one. Just brush it with warm water, lay it right here on top, and just brush it with warm water. Get that side of it nice and wet, and then lay the one on top of the other with the wet sides facing one another and press down on them, nice and firm, press down on them, and then just let them dry for maybe an hour. And these will be stuck together. And you could pull them apart feasibly, but they will be stuck together. And then when you cook them, they will stick even more to the point that you can't really even tell where one begins and the other one ends. So if you want a thicker crust, this is how you do it. I will let this dry and cook another pizza with it later. So we're going to want to turn our stove to a medium heat. Now here we're going to want to use a 12-inch pan. And that's important because we want this tortilla to fit perfectly in that pan. And with a 12-inch pan, it will do so. So we're going to set that pan on that medium heat, and let's go ahead and put a tablespoon of olive oil in our pan. Just kind of shake it all around until it's completely covering the bottom of the pan. And now we're going to go ahead and let that pan heat up for about 5 minutes. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes, and we're just going to take our tortilla and lay it in the pan. Rub it around a little bit. Even though the pan is hot, you can do that with your fingers because it won't have, that heat won't have penetrated that tortilla yet. Just make sure you don't take too long doing it. Rub it around and get that oil all over the bottom side of the tortilla. And we're going to leave this in the pan for about 5 minutes. Now, if you like your pizza crust softer, where you can fold your pizza, then just skip this part and we're going to go straight to adding the toppings. But I like my pizza crust crispier, so I'm going to let this sit in the pan for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to turn it over. Then while that crust is cooking on that one side, we can go ahead and prepare any toppings that we need to prepare. The onions I've already diced up because I had some diced onions that were left from a previous video, so I'm just going to use those. So I don't need to cut the onions today, but I'm going to go ahead and cut the tomato. And this is the way I like to cut the tomato as a pizza topping. I like to cut it into slices, and then I like to cut those in half. And then I like to cut those halves into quarters. Now that tortilla's been in the pan for about 5 minutes, and we're just gonna go ahead and flip it over. Now we're gonna add some dried Italian seasoning. Just a taste, that's probably a half a teaspoon, maybe a teaspoon. And now I'm gonna add 4 tablespoons of Rayo's marinara sauce. Spread that around fairly evenly. Now I'm going to add about 2/3 of a cup of shredded mozzarella cheese. That's 1/3. This is 2/3. And again, let's spread that around fairly evenly. Now I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of diced onion. Then I'm going to take these sliced baby bella mushrooms. I'm going to break them up so that they're not great big slices. Probably 3 or 4 good slices, big slices. Yeah, 3 slices. I think 3 slices are going to be good here. And then sliced black olives. This is a 2 1/4 ounce can, so probably maybe half an ounce. What that comes out to. And personally, I like a few pickled jalapeno peppers on mine. These sliced tomatoes, I find, make a very good topping. Pizza toppings are such a personal decision, such a personal thing. You put whatever you like. And then the big one that almost everybody likes is pepperoni. Now these pepperonis will shrink a good bit, so you want to put more than you might think would be necessary. Of course, now if you're making a pizza with a lot of different toppings like I am, then the pepperonis don't really have to cover the pizza so much. But if you're just making a pepperoni pizza, you probably want to go ahead and put, 15 or 20 of these things on your pizza and just have them touching one another and covering the whole pizza because they shrink a good bit. Got 17 pepperonis right there on that one. 18. Last but not least, I like to just put a little bit of shredded Parmesan cheese on top. Just a little, maybe a quarter of an ounce shredded Parmesan cheese. We're gonna wanna cover this and just let it cook. We're gonna come back in about 15 minutes and check it. Okay, it's been about 15 minutes. We're gonna take the lid off here. So the main thing that we're looking for is just that if we lift up the edge of this pizza like this right here, it just sort of starts to lift up the whole pizza. So you can see that that crust has gotten crispy. It's not a soft, doughy crust. It's a nice crispy crust. So that's what we're looking for. So I think this is ready, and we can just take this right up onto our cutting board. We take this pizza, stick the spatula underneath it right there, and just kind of slide it off of the pan. It should slide right off onto our cutting board. Now that's a beautiful pizza. Yeah, look at that. That is a beautiful pizza, and I can't wait to give it a taste test. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our pizza cutter and make 2 cuts. We're going to cut it into 4 pieces. And if you don't have a pizza cutter, a knife will work just fine here. This will make 4 nice slices. Now in the macros, I say that pizza is 2 servings, and it is. I think that's fair, but my teenage son and myself, we can eat a whole one of these things ourselves. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and make a second pizza. He doesn't like as many toppings on his as I do. So I've taken this pan and I've just given it a quick wipe with a paper towel, and I'm just going to add another tablespoon of olive oil. And on this one, I'm gonna do a couple of things different. I'm gonna use this double crust that I made earlier by sticking the 2 tortillas together with some warm water. We've given those a little bit of time to dry. So I'm gonna go ahead and put those in here now. And also we're gonna make this one with a little bit of a softer crust. And so what we're going to do is we're not going to leave it in here for 5 minutes and let it cook on one side and then flip it the way we did the other one. We're just going to go ahead and hit the top side with a little bit of olive oil spray. Shake some dried Italian seasoning on here. 4 tablespoons of Rao's marinara sauce. Spread that around. Add our 2/3 cup of mozzarella cheese. Spread that around evenly. Well, if I know my son, and I think I do, he's going to want onions, mushrooms, which he has loved since he was a child, a very small child. In fact, I used to worry that he was going to pick and eat wild mushrooms. We used to keep a careful eye on him so he wouldn't. I mean, he was real young, like, 2 and 3 years old. And we'd be worried that when he was out in the yard or wandering around, he'd see a wild mushroom, pick it up and eat it, because he just knew he liked mushrooms and knew what they looked like. And then I think he's going to want pepperoni. I believe I counted 21 slices of pepperoni there. These shrink, so you don't have to be concerned about covering the entire surface of the pizza with pepperoni. They will shrink. Parmesan cheese, just a little. Let's cover it, and we'll come back and check it in. Maybe we'll come back in 10 minutes or so. We don't want this crust to be as crispy as the other one. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes. So I'm gonna take this pizza out of the pan onto the cutting board. This one has a thicker crust, and you see how it's softer? You see how it's malleable? The pizza will bend, the crust will bend. Okay, that's our second pizza. That is another delicious looking pizza, and this one has the softer, thicker crust. All right, my friends, my son Jordan and I are going to sit down here and give this pizza, this CK pizza, a taste test. I'm calling it CK pizza for Crimson Kitchen Pizza.
Crimson Kitchen Pizza.
Yeah. we have made this for several years now. And like I said, the only reason I haven't made a video showing how to make this is because I wasn't creating content at the time. So I'm really glad to finally be able to share it with you guys. But I'm calling it CK Pizza, but Jordan and I have always called it Snitza. That's just a silly thing that we came up with.
Where did that even start?
I have no idea. I have no idea where it started. But anyway, guys, I tell you right now, we're going to give this a taste test, but this is nothing new in this house. We have made this for a long time, and I have not seen this in any other content creators' videos or anything. As far as I know, I came up with this, and I really urge you guys to try it because what do you think what would you say about this crust, Jordan? Would you say it tastes like?
I would say it's just a crust.
Yeah, it's just like a pizza crust, right? You wouldn't think it's like any kind of crust substitution or some sort of like, doesn't even taste like a frozen pizza. It just tastes like a
crust.
Yeah, it just tastes like a homemade pizza, right? With a thin and crispy crust. Yeah, so let's give it a try here and just kind of tell our friends what we think of it.
So good.
We've always just made it with the thin crust. This idea of making a thicker crust with the two pieces of tortilla stuck together with the warm water, that's relatively new. So how is that working out, Jordan? I made one of those for you earlier. Did that crust ever come apart in any way?
No, it's just like normal, just thicker.
How is that one? Is it just like a thicker crust?
Yeah, I think it works out perfectly.
Yeah, okay.
I can't even see the two.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. When I made it for you earlier, I couldn't even tell where one started and the other one ended. So when you brush that water on those and stick them together like that and then just give it a while to dry, it's like it just kind of merges those tortillas together, and so you end up with just a thicker crust. Now yours is the softer crust. You should be able to fold yours in half. Like if I try to fold mine in half, it's just going to break. Will yours fold in half? No, I guess I made it a little too crispy, didn't I?
It will, but it kind of cracks.
Yeah, okay. Well, I probably cooked it a little bit too long. So I gave that about, I gave that one about 12 minutes. So you give that one like maybe 8 minutes, and the crust will still be, soft enough that you can fold it. So if Jordan and I decide that we want pizza, generally this is what we go for. Like I have so many times I've given him the choice. Do you want me to order something, order us a pizza from Pizza Hut or make us a snitza? And he's always like, let's go for the snitza. So, it's really just that good, my friends. I really strongly urge you to give it a try. I'm having a beer with mine. This, by the way, very keto friendly. I put the macros up on the screen at the beginning of the video, so you saw that. It's the crust is just mostly dietary fiber, very few net carbs in here, so it's very keto friendly. Of course, the beer is not. I like a good wheat beer, and so this, if you're on keto and you're trying to stick to the keto diet, then you'll want something else to drink. Like I said, I like to set mine off with a little crushed red pepper or black pepper. Yeah, and just like with any other pizza, it's a perfect kind of food for like sitting in front of the TV and watching TV on a Friday night, a ball game or a movie or whatever.
Like Game of Thrones?
Oh yeah, we're rewatching Game of Thrones. Yeah, you want to go sit in front of the TV and watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, my friends, we're gonna take our pizza and go sit in front of the TV and rewatch Game of Thrones. We really wish we can invite you to come and watch it with us, but since that's an impossibility, we're just gonna have to bid you farewell. And we hope you give this pizza a try. Let me know down in the comments what you think about it. And we'll see you next time on Crimson Kitchen. Hey.